Hello and welcome to this special broadcast on VNN Canada with me, Navedna Prabhu. It is the tax season, and for the past couple of weeks, we've been covering various aspects of it and listening to all our viewers. We had a couple of questions about corporations and taxes. And who better, like always, to discuss about this than DP Jain, who is in our studios today. DP Jain is a CPA CGA and practicing accountant for the last 15 years. He has over 30 years of international accounting experience. He's also the current Vice President of Indo-Canadian Harmony Forum and the past President of Indo-Canada Chamber of Commerce. Like always, DP Jain, thank you so much for taking your time out and joining us in the studios.
It's my pleasure.
Like I said, I think viewers have, of course, had various questions about different things regarding taxes. And one of the things that we discussed last week in our episode was we were going to talk about corporation and taxes.
Yeah.
And you said that, of course, you will have a lot of information to give our viewers about that.
I'll try.
Yes. With, of course, your vast experience that you have. So my first question would be, corporation taxes, what is it and what kind of businesses fall under this?
Well, Nivedana, very great question, in fact. Generally, when we talk about corporations, let me start with saying that corporation is a style. Well, there are different styles, how a business can be started, what kind of style a business can be. Most of the people, most popular way of doing a business are three ways. I won't be talking much detail, but most popular are the three styles. One is a sole proprietorship, where if one person just start a business and they own the business. In Canada, it is popularly known as self-employed. That means if I, as a single person, start a business, this is known as a self-employed business or a sole proprietorship.
Okay.
Second style of the business, which is most common and popular, is partnership. Partnership means where more than one person, they come together and start any activity, business activity, then it is known as partnership. Third most popular style of doing a business is corporations. So today we are talking about the corporations. What is a corporation, how a corporation is created, how it is dissolved or ends, and definitely maybe because of time limitation, we won't be talking about the taxes, how a corporation is taxed, but that we can touch upon later. But today we are concentrating and focusing more on the corporations,
right.
How it is created, what kind of corporation there could be. So corporation is a most common, most popular style of doing a business.
Okay, so that would be my second question. How are corporations different from any other businesses?
Again, a very good question. Well, firstly, the corporation, we need to understand what is a corporation.
Yes.
Legally, a corporation is a artificial legal person which is subject to separate tax filing. So when I say that, these are very important words. Artificial. You and me, we are natural persons. Whereas corporation is an artificial person, this doesn't have a natural existence. Second, this is a legal person. Legal person means a corporation is created by the application of the law of the land and it dies by the application of the law. And thirdly, a corporation is termed as a separate legal entity which is subject to filing its own taxes. So ये होता है कि जब corporation बनाई है तो as a layman sometimes what we understand, oh I have got a corporation, but as a layman generally people they don't differentiate between themselves and the corporation. They treat corporation like, well, I myself is a corporation. That is not the true. Corporation, as I said earlier, it's a separate legal entity. Corporation owns the business. Corporation is treated as equal, as good as a person, human being.
Okay.
When I say as a human being, corporation can own any assets. Corporation can borrow funds. Corporation can sue anyone, any person or other person, other businesses, they can sue the corporation.
Okay.
So this is the major difference. Again, corporation is a legal person created by the application of law and it owns the business. It can own assets, liabilities. It is as good as a human.
Okay, and how is a corporation created? If you could tell our viewers about that. I mean, for the ones who already know will know it, but how is it actually created?
Corporation is created by the land of the law.
Okay.
So basically every country has a act and this act could be named differently.
Right.
But in broader sense, we call it a Companies Act or a Corporation Act that defines how a corporation is created, how it is administered, and how a corporation is dissolved.
Okay.
In Canada, we have two kind of acts. One is a federal act that is known as Canada Business Corporation Act, and second every province in Canada has a different provincial act.
Right.
Since we are in Ontario, so Ontario has a Business Corporation Act, Ontario or Ontario Business Corporation Act.
Right.
So now what is the difference between these two acts? The basic difference is this. The Canada Business Corporation Act, popularly we call it a Canada Act or Federal Act, that applies in the corporation created under this act. And these corporations are known as federal corporations or Canadian corporations.
Okay.
That means this act applies all over Canada. So any corporation created under this act that is created, administered and dies by application of this act.
Okay.
Second, when we talk about the provincial act, a corporation is created under that particular provincial act. Like Ontario has its own act,
Yes.
BC has its own act. So all provinces have their own individual acts.
Okay.
So we can create a corporation instead of under federal act and under a provincial act.
Right.
Since we are in Ontario, if we create a corporation under Ontario act, then sometimes we call it a Ontario corporation or a provincial corporation.
Right.
Now, what is the major difference? Well, obviously that a question arises, then what is the major difference? So the difference is different act.
So
There are different act who governs the creation of the corporation, administration and how we dissolve them. Second major act is name search.
name search.
Now, people may ask, what is a name? Maybe we can touch upon after this particular point.
Yes.
Generally, we have seen here in Canada corporations with some kind of by name like ABC Inc.
Correct.
or XYZ Limited.
Limited.
At the same time, we see the corporation where we have a numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Ontario Inc. or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Canada Inc.
Canada Inc.
So both are the corporations, but one has a popular name. So when we create a corporation under Federal Act, the name search is done Canada-wide.
Canada-wide.
So it means this corporation is named, is protected within Canada.
Okay.
If we create a corporation by a name
Yes.
under Provincial Act,
Yeah.
the name search is done within the province itself.
But
So
not obviously
federally.
Canada-wide.
So it means, suppose we create a corporation ABC Inc.
Yes.
If it is created under Ontario Act,
Yes.
then there may be a similar corporation by the
In
same name in
BC or
BC, in
Alberta.
Alberta, in Nova Scotia.
Okay.
So this is the major difference. Third difference is in terms of filing the fees. So both act has a different fees. So if we create a federal corporation, we got to pay federal fees. If we create a provincial corporation,
You pay the
pay
provincial
fees.
fees.
These are three major differences.
Okay. And in terms of how to register a corporation with CRA, could you tell us, could you shed light on that?
Well, firstly, the corporations are created under Act. So once a corporation is created,
Yeah.
then second stage is to register them with CRA.
CRA.
What happens? The government or the ministry which creates the corporations and administers the corporation, it is understood if a corporation is created, obviously it is a business corporation. Definitely corporation will involve in any business activities.
Correct.
And at the end of the year, when corporation's year ends, either there going to be a profit or loss. So that means corporation has to file its income tax return, which is popularly known as corporate tax return.
Corporate tax.
So what happens when we create a corporation? Automatically CRA assigns a business number.
Okay.
Business number in 9 is a unique number that is assigned to each and every taxable entity or taxable person. As corporation treated as separate taxable person. So this number is automatically assigned by CRA. And this ends by RC0001. RC stands for Corporation Registered for the Corporate Taxes.
Okay.
So this number is automatically assigned. But top of that, if a corporation is engaged in business activity, there could be any payroll if a corporation hires employees. If corporation is engaged in HST taxable activities, then there could be HST registration required. So for the payroll, HST numbers, and for import and export, each and every corporation has to register with CRA. And as we had talked previously, there could be its online registration.
Or
it may be
mail, or
by,
you can
by
call
calling
them.
to the CRA or by mail-in application. So these are the stages there.
Okay. And in terms of who can create a corporation and what documents are required, are there any?
I believe before we come to this point,
Yes.
let me tell to all your viewers
Yes.
what kind of corporation there could be.
Yes.
Firstly, we have talked about the corporation by application of law.
Yes.
So it could be a federal corporation which is created under Canada Business Corporation Act.
Yeah.
Secondly, it could be provincial corporation. This is the major distinction.
Yes.
What kind of corporation there can be. One, it can be a federal corporation or it can be provincial corporation. Second distinction could be, it may be named corporation where there is a name. Well, popular name or any kind of name. It may be your last name, your first name, family name, or any Sunrise Incorporated.
Yeah.
Indo-Canadian Import and Exporting.
Yeah.
So these corporations are named, popularly named corporation, where we search a name
Search it.
as per the act, under which act we want to create them.
Correct.
And second could be numbered corporation, where there is, instead of a name, there is number.
Like how you mentioned,
Exactly.
1, 2, 3.
But this number is also in name. The only difference is it is a numbered name.
It's a numbered name.
Because that number itself is a name.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Ontario Inc. So this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the number. But
Okay.
this is name as well
Yes.
for the corporation. Thirdly,
Okay.
corporation could be private corporations or public corporations.
corporations.
Now, private corporation means if you create a corporation where the public is not interested. Generally, what happens by the application of the act, there are a limitation how many shareholders can be in that corporation.
Correct.
So when public is not interested, it is just the few persons, family members, friends and relatives. These corporations are typically known as private corporations. And where we issue the shares to the public at large, we want, if I create a corporation, I want to raise the capital from the public, then these corporations are known as public corporations. There is
Okay.
a separate way how to register, how
For
to issue
that.
the shares, how to go for the public, issue shares in the public. So these corporations are known as public corporations. These are typical differences, though depending on the situation, depending on the activity, depending on various acts, we can further divide them.
Correct.
But those divisions in those style and the type of corporations not that important.
Right.
These are the important things where, because most of the time people come, they say, I want to create a Canada corporation. So as an expert, as a CPA, I know when someone is asking a Canada corporation, that means this person want to register a corporation under Canada Business Corporation Act, or he just want to be a federally registered corporation.
So that's the thing.
That's the
we
thing.
were coming back to, you said who can create and what documents are required for corporations?
Well, by the law, anyone can create a corporation.
Okay.
Obviously, it has to be a person. And so any person can create a corporation. Any business can create a corporation.
Any person can, any
Or,
business.
or any existing business. Suppose there is an existing corporation. This
Yes.
corporation can also create
Create
a
another
corporation.
one.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
They can.
Okay.
And now, if we understand in the way who can create a corporation, generally lawyers are the expert, they create the corporations. We as a CPA, we are an expert, we can create a corporation.
Yes.
Or any person, suppose if I want to create a corporation, even though I am not an accountant, I can go online, can use various tools available, can go to any of the ministry's website, and we can create a corporation.
Okay.
Now, what I suggest here, anyone who want to create a corporation, it's in their own interest either to contact the lawyer or to an expert CPA like me or
Yes.
anyone else, their
Yeah.
existing accountant, because they know the pros and cons.
Right. So, I mean, they would be in a better situation to tell you and guide you about it, because there are certain things, like I always say, that you might not be aware of, and that's when an expert like you will step
Exactly,
in.
yes.
And you can definitely contact DP Jain's office at 905-790-9327. They can also email you.
Definitely. And my email is dpjain@dpjaincpa.com.
CPA.com. So you can definitely email DP Jain and his team, or definitely call and find out. And he will, of course, he and his team will always give you
Definitely, yes.
valuable advice. It's just not about, coming into the office and saying this is what you want.
You know why I suggest before someone want to create a corporation to visit to an expert? Reason being,
Yes.
well, people think creating a corporation is as easy as ABC. Yes, it's as easy as ABC, but there are so many legal issues, and only an expert can guide you. If someone approaches me and want me to create a corporation, first I want this person, why you want to create a corporation? Why not a sole proprietorship? Why not a partnership? What are your objectives? Because corporation, there are pros and cons. There are advantages of creating a corporation. There are disadvantages as well.
Also, I think for a lot of immigrants and newcomers who would like to do this, a lot of things that they would not know. So it's always
Definitely,
best to, come to an expert and find
because
out.
when someone creates a corporations, there is filing requirements.
Yes.
There are cost attached. There are legal requirements. So definitely there are so many things which one must know before they decide to create a corporation.
Because you know that CRA will definitely come,
One
on
more
your
point I
radar.
want to add here. As I said earlier just now,
Yes.
any person can create a corporation, but this person has to be Canadian resident.
Not permanent resident. It can be.
It has to be either PR or citizen.
Okay, it cannot be any, like you can't
Well,
get a work
a person
permit.
on work visa, a person on
Student
student visa.
cannot.
Well, in legal term, yes, no. because it has to be residency, and residency for the corporation is known as residency under either it has
Permanent
to be
resident
permanent
or
resident,
citizen.
or it has to be a open work permit at least.
Open work. So no work permit and no student permit.
Yes.
Okay. According legally, you're not
Exactly,
allowed
yes.
to do this. Okay.
And one more issue here.
Yes.
Well, when someone create a corporation, there are two type of persons are involved.
Okay.
One is incorporator.
Okay.
Incorporator is the person who creates the
Creates it.
corporation.
Right.
So suppose you come to me and want me to create a corporation, I can be an incorporator because I am creating a corporation on your behalf.
Oh,
Or
okay.
you yourself can be an incorporator.
Incorporator.
So it means then you are the incorporator, but I am creating a corporation, or I am suggesting you, or I'm doing that work.
Okay.
So there are incorporators. Typically, most of the time, incorporators are the same as the first directors.
Right.
Now, who is the first director? The person, when we create a corporation, there has to be at least one director.
Yes.
Director is the person who will direct the corporation, who will supervise the corporation initially.
Right.
So without having at least one director, we cannot create a corporation. So the incorporator and director can be same.
Okay.
Incorporator director can be different.
Okay.
Now, sometimes a question comes in, there is non-resident who want to create a corporation. So under Federal Act and Ontario Act, there has to be at least 25% resident directors. That means if there is only one director, this person has to be resident Canadian under both the acts. If there are two directors, one can be a non-resident, one has to be resident. If there are three directors, two can be non-resident, one has to be resident.
But the base of
if
it
there are
is-
four directors, then
Yeah.
one has to be resident.
Okay.
If there are five directors, then we need two directors, resident directors.
Okay.
So it is 25% resident
Resident.
director
Okay.
under Ontario Corporation Act and under Federal
Federal Act.
But there are few provinces like BC, Nova Scotia and all, where there is no such requirement is
Okay.
applicable. In non-resident can create a corporation.
So I think that is again, like DP Jain rightly said, that there are a lot of advices and things. It's not just about ABC or 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
There's a lot of information behind the ABC and 1, 2, 3, and for that you can definitely contact an expert like DP Jain, and I already gave you his information. But again, you can give a call on 905-790-9327. Before I let you go, any pointers that people have to keep in mind for corporate taxes?
Well, definitely I will give 3 pointers.
Okay.
First, speak with an expert.
Right.
It could be a lawyer, it could be an accountant, or
An
any
expert.
CPA like me,
CPA expert, yes.
who can really go in detail, discuss with you and decide really you want to create a corporation, and that's good for your future vision and future business.
Yes.
Second, it could be that again sit with this expert and decide what kind of corporation you want to create. You want to create a federal corporation, or you want to create a provincial corporation,
one.
because
Yeah.
there are pros and cons.
Okay.
Well, a corporation is typically a corporation, but again, it depends. It has to be a provincial corporation or a federal corporation.
Okay.
And third, very important pointer, I will decide that when we create a corporation, the document which we receive
Yeah.
that establish the corporation is created is known as articles of incorporation.
Okay.
I have seen article of incorporation running in 2 pages, 3 pages to 20 pages or 50 pages.
Okay.
So this is the basic legal documents.
Okay.
And this is a very important document. So before someone decides to create a corporation, speak openly with an expert so that this expert can decide what kind of legal document you have to create. What are the clauses you want to incorporate in this legal document? Though we can amend this document going forward, but again, everything is cost involved. If you want to amend this article of incorporation down the road anytime, definitely again you have to seek help from expert. You have to refile them. That cost
You
is
don't
involved.
want that
So it's better
complication also, yeah.
you seek always. This is the first pointer I would say. Speak with the expert. Speak with a CPA. Speak with a lawyer who you trust, who can guide you, who can look into the
Every aspect
documentation,
of
who
it.
can look into your vision, your objectives, and guide you.
Okay. Thank you so much once again for joining us in the studios. Like always, great valuable advice for all our viewers, and which is why we decided to have this, because they're always having questions and queries, and we're glad that you could answer them today.
Well, it's my pleasure.
Well, that was DP Jain. First, number one point that he has stated, like he always states, contact a person that you trust. It could be a lawyer, it could be a CPA expert, it could be an accountant, because it's very important that when you are starting anything that involves a legal process, it's always great to have the trust of a person and especially of an expert in their field who are here to guide you. You can contact his team on 905-790-9327. We will continue having DP Jain in our studios next week and until the tax season is over. So if you all have any questions, feel free to comment and let us know, and we shall definitely give you the valuable advice.